able to get the images out of your mind about what happened that day.
Correct.
Can you take us back to what you actually witnessed at the park?
Emergency response team, what's the situation?
We need an ambulance now. A trainer's been pulled under.
I showed up at the pools where Telecom had taken Dawn into, and it was very chaotic.
Victoria Emergency Services. Please state the nature of your emergency.
It's Sealand, our marine.
SeaWorld is keeping a close eye on a killer whale blamed for killing a trainer.
Park. One of our trainers, she's in the whale pool. The orcas, they've got her. They won't let her up.
Are you saying the whales are...
It is nearly impossible to forget the horrific attack earlier this year at SeaWorld. The attack that left a trainer dead, drowned by a killer whale.
attacking a trainer?
Yes. She keeps surfacing, screaming, but they're dragging her under again.
911, what's your emergency?
The orca has Jessica and won't let go. She's been underwater for over a minute. Send help immediately!
We can't get to her.
What you just witnessed was truly shocking. Imagine being a skilled trainer like Jessica Radcliffe, someone who loves and understands orcas, suddenly finding yourself in a terrifying life or death fight with one of these powerful animals during a live show. The cheers of the crowd turned to screams as Luna, a massive orca, grabbed Jessica and dragged her underwater. It's a scene that sent chills down the spines of everyone who saw it and sparked a huge conversation around the world about keeping these magnificent creatures in captivity. Jessica Radcliffe wasn't just any trainer. She had dedicated her whole life to marine animals. From a young age, she was completely fascinated by orcas, those amazing black and white giants of the ocean. She spent years learning about them, understanding how they behave, and eventually became a respected trainer at SeaWorld. Everyone knew Jessica was calm, skilled, and had a real connection with the orcas she worked with. The day of the attack seemed like any other show day. The sun was shining. The stadium was packed with excited families, and Jessica was getting ready for a routine performance with Luna. Luna was a huge orca, weighing over 12,000 pounds, but she was known to be playful and reliable during shows. Jessica felt confident as they started their performance, going through their practice moves. The crowd loved it as Luna leaped and splashed, and Jessica smiled, cueing for the next trick. Little did she know that something was wrong with Luna that day. There had been a few small signs earlier. Luna seemed a bit restless. Her movements were a little off, but no one thought much of it. Then, as Jessica dived into the pool for the finale, everything changed in an instant. Instead of following the plan, Luna suddenly turned back towards Jessica with alarming speed. Before anyone could react, Luna lunged, her powerful jaws clamping down on Jessica's leg. A gasp swept through the audience as they realized this wasn't part of the show. Jessica was pulled under the water with incredible force. The water churned violently as Luna thrashed, pulling her deeper and deeper. Panic broke out among the trainers and the audience. Even though she was terrified, Jessica's training kicked in. She tried to stay calm, but the orca's strength was overwhelming. Every second underwater felt like forever as she desperately needed air. At the edge of the pool, the other trainers sprang into action. They shouted commands, trying to get Luna to let go. They threw fish into the water to distract her, tapped the surface with long poles, and even set off underwater alarms. But Luna wouldn't release her grip. It was a terrifying display of the raw power of these incredible predators. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Luna loosened her hold just for a moment, allowing Jessica to come up for a quick breath. The trainers saw their chance. One trainer used a pole to try and guide Luna away, while others reached into the water to pull Jessica to safety. It was a risky operation, and one wrong move could have made things even worse. Finally, they got Jessica out of the pool. She was gasping for air, completely shaken. The audience, who had been silent with horror, now erupted in relieved applause, not fully understanding how serious her injuries were. Jessica was rushed to the hospital. Doctors found deep puncture wounds on her leg and terrible bruising all over her body. While her physical wounds would eventually heal, The emotional scars from that day ran much deeper. The attack sent shockwaves through the SeaWorld community and started a huge debate all over the world about keeping Orcas in captivity. People argued that it was dangerous for both the animals and the trainers to keep such intelligent and powerful creatures in small tanks. They said that Luna's attack wasn't just a random event, but part of a bigger problem of captive Orcas behaving unpredictably. Jessica's recovery was long and difficult. Physically, she got stronger over time, but going back to work was a huge challenge. The memory of the attack stayed with her, and she started to question whether it was right to have Orca shows at all. Luna, who she once trusted, was now a painful reminder of that terrifying day. After the attack, SeaWorld faced a lot more scrutiny. Animal rights groups used Jessica's story to push for change, demanding an end to keeping Orcas captive. SeaWorld was under a lot of pressure to look at their programs again and make sure there were better safety measures and living conditions for the Orcas. For Jessica, the experience changed her life forever. She still loved marine life, but her view on captivity had changed completely. She became an advocate for change, sharing her story to help people understand the dangers trainers face and the complex nature of working with such powerful animals. Even though she did eventually go back to working with marine animals, her relationship with Orcas and her mission to protect them would never be the same. Jessica Radcliffe's story is a powerful reminder that even though Orcas are amazing and intelligent, they are also incredibly strong wild animals that can't be completely controlled, especially in captivity. The attack on Jessica highlighted the risk for trainers and the urgent need to think more carefully about how we treat these magnificent creatures. But the story doesn't end there. In a completely different part of the world, something equally shocking happened in the waters off the coast of Scotland. This area is known for its stunning scenery and calm waters, a peaceful place for sailors. One beautiful June morning in 2023, a small yacht was sailing along, its crew enjoying the calm seas and blue skies. The trip had been easy so far, and they were chatting about where to go next, not knowing what was about to happen beneath the surface. Scotland's northern waters weren't really known for orcas, let alone orca attacks. The sailors couldn't even imagine encountering such a powerful predator in this peaceful place. Suddenly, the calm was broken. A loud thump shook the boat, startling everyone. They rushed to the sides, trying to see what had hit them. Then, a huge black fin cut through the water, an orca. At first, the crew was in awe of this majestic animal, but their amazement quickly turned to fear as the orca began to circle their yacht. Its movement seemed deliberate, menacing. Then, without warning, the orca slammed into the side of the yacht with incredible force. The boat lurched violently, throwing the crew off balance. Another strike followed, this time hitting the rudder. The sound of the impact echoed across the water, and the yacht started to feel unsteady. The orca was incredibly strong, and its relentless attacks left the crew terrified and confused. The sailors tried to steer away, but the damage to the rudder made it almost impossible. The orca didn't stop. It continued its assault, each hit more powerful than the last. Waves crashed against the sides of the yacht as the animal's powerful tail churned the water. The crew tried everything they could think of to scare the orca away, shouting, banging on the hull, even using sound signals, but nothing worked. Panic set in. They realized how serious the situation was. This orca's behavior was unlike anything they had ever seen or heard of. Orcas are known to be intelligent and social, and they rarely show aggression towards humans or boats in these waters. This attack was a disturbing change, leaving the crew feeling helpless and unprepared. The yacht was taking damage quickly. The repeated ramming had weakened the hull, and water started to leak into the lower parts of the boat. The crew worked frantically, using pumps and buckets to try and get the water out, but the orca's constant presence kept them on edge. Finally, after what felt like forever, the orca stopped its attack and disappeared into the deep. The water went still, but the crew remained tense, not sure it was really over. The silence was almost deafening, broken only by the sound of waves hitting the damaged boat. The sailors looked at each other, relieved but exhausted, their faces pale from the terrifying experience. Even though the yacht was damaged, it stayed afloat long enough for the crew to send out a radio call for help. A nearby ship responded and arrived within hours to tow the crippled yacht to safety. The rescue was a huge relief for the shaken sailors, who told their story with a mix of disbelief and thankfulness. The incident off the coast of Scotland quickly made headlines and caught the attention of marine authorities and scientists. It was the first recorded orca attack in these northern waters, a big change in where these kinds of incidents were happening. Researchers were puzzled by the behavior. Orca aggression towards boats had mostly been reported in places like the Strait of Gibraltar and the Iberian Peninsula. Scientists started to come up with theories. Some thought it might be because of changes in the environment, like a lack of food or more boats disturbing their homes. Others suggested that maybe the orca had learned this behavior from other orcas in different areas, showing how these animals can learn from each other. For the sailors, the attack was a stark reminder of how unpredictable the ocean can be. What started as a peaceful adventure quickly turned into a life-threatening encounter with one of the sea's most powerful predators. The experience left them deeply shaken, their confidence in sailing the open seas greatly reduced. In the weeks that followed, there were a lot of discussions about orca behavior and the potential dangers to sailors. The incident highlighted the need to understand these intelligent creatures better and figure out why they might be becoming aggressive. It also raised questions about how sailors could be better prepared for and respond to such encounters in the future. The attack off the coast of Scotland marked a turning point in how we study orca behavior, and as researchers continued their investigations, the maritime community stayed on alert, knowing that the line between human activity and the natural world was becoming increasingly blurred. For those who were there, the memory of the orca's immense power and deliberate actions would be a lasting reminder of the untamed forces of the ocean. Then, just a little while later, in the sunny waters off the coast of Estepona, Spain, something similar happened to the crew of the yacht Capo Tercero. They were sailing towards the Copa del Rey regatta, enjoying the beautiful Mediterranean Sea. The boat glided smoothly through the gentle waves, and the crew, a mix of experienced sailors and enthusiasts, were excited about the upcoming race. As they reached open water, they noticed something unusual in the distance. At first, they thought it was dolphins, which are common in that area. But as the ripples got bigger and the dark shapes beneath the surface became clearer, they realized it was something else entirely. A pod of orcas had appeared, their tall dorsal fins cutting through the water with an eerie precision. The crew's initial wonder quickly turned to worry as the orcas started to move closer to the yacht. The pod's movement seemed planned, their sleek bodies gliding effortlessly around the vessel. The initial fascination turned to dread when they felt the first impact. A loud thud echoed through the hull as one of the orcas rammed the yacht's rudder. The force of the blow jolted the crew, and they scrambled to see the damage. Panic spread as the orcas launched a coordinated attack on the yacht, focusing relentlessly on the rudder. The once peaceful journey had turned into chaos as the crew struggled to understand what was happening. The rudder, which is essential for steering, took the brunt of the orcas' aggression. Each strike sent vibrations through the yacht, shaking the confidence of even the most experienced sailors on board. Desperate to protect their boat, the crew sprang into action. They tried various ways to scare the orcas away, making loud noises and banging on the hull, hoping to startle the animals. However, the orcas seemed unfazed, their attention fixed on the rudder. The crew's attempts to steer the yacht away were useless because the damaged rudder made the vessel almost impossible to control. As the minutes stretched into what felt like forever, the crew's fear grew. They realized they were at the mercy of these powerful creatures. The orcas, known for their intelligence and social behavior, seemed to be carrying out a deliberate and coordinated attack. Their actions raised questions about whether it was aggression, curiosity, or a learned behavior within the pod. The crew's growing desperation was matched by the increasing damage to the yacht. With each impact, the boat's structure was weakened. Water began to leak into the lower sections, and the once sturdy vessel started to show signs of distress. The crew worked tirelessly to stabilize the yacht, using pumps to get the water out, while keeping a worried eye on the orcas circling nearby. As the attack continued, the crew managed to send out a distress signal, their voices filled with urgency as they reported their dangerous situation to the Spanish Coast Guard. The response was quick, and a patrol vessel was sent to their location. However, the crew knew that help would take time to arrive, and they had no choice but to endure the relentless attacks in the meantime. Eventually, as suddenly as they had appeared, the orcas retreated, disappearing beneath the waves. The silence that followed was deafening, broken only by the sound of water lapping against the damaged hull. The crew, though shaken, used this moment to regroup and assess the damage. The yacht's rudder was severely damaged, leaving them adrift in the open sea. When the Spanish Coast Guard finally arrived, the relief among the crew was overwhelming. The patrol vessel worked quickly to tow the Capo to the nearest marina, ensuring the safety of the crew and minimizing further damage to the yacht. The journey back to shore was filled with exhaustion and gratitude, the crew acutely aware of how close they had come to disaster. The incident off the coast of Estepona was not an isolated one. It added to a growing number of orca attacks in the region, a trend that had been causing concern among maritime authorities and sailors. The behavior of these orcas, especially their targeted attacks on rudders, puzzled researchers and raised serious concerns about the safety of boats in these waters. Marine biologists studying this phenomenon speculated that the attacks could be linked to environmental stressors, changes in the availability of their prey, or even social learning within the orca pods. The deliberate nature of the attack suggested a level of intelligence and strategy that was both fascinating and unsettling for the crew of the Capo. The experience served as a stark reminder of the unpredictable power of nature and the fragile boundary between humans and the marine world. In the aftermath of the attack, the yacht's crew shared their story with local authorities and researchers, providing valuable information about the orca's behavior. The incident also led to discussions about potential ways to reduce the risk of such encounters, including better monitoring of orca activity and developing strategies to deter them from targeting vessels. The attack on the Capo highlighted the increasing number of orca interactions in the region and the challenges faced by sailors navigating these increasingly unpredictable waters. As researchers continue to investigate the underlying causes of this behavior, the maritime community remain on high alert, aware that the balance between human activity and the natural world was shifting in unexpected ways. These recent events, from the shocking attack on trainer Jessica Radcliffe to the alarming encounters with orcas targeting boats off the coast of Scotland and Spain, serve as powerful reminders of the complex relationship between humans and these magnificent marine predators. They highlight the potential dangers of keeping highly intelligent and powerful animals in captivity, and raise serious questions about the factors driving changes in wild orca behavior. It's crucial that we continue to research and understand these incredible creatures to ensure the safety of both humans and orcas in the future. If this video gave you chills and made you think, please hit that like button, share it with your friends so they can see this unbelievable story, and subscribe for more fascinating and thought-provoking content. We appreciate your support.